Freedom of expression and nationalism can coexist. We support the right to dissent, but not destruction of the country. That's what the finance minister said on day 2 of the BJP National Executive.
Well, and so we're asking, is the issue of nationalism and the debate on nationalists versus anti-nationals going to be the centerpiece of the BJP's campaign?
हमारी सरकार का विकास जो कुछ लोगों को रास नहीं आ रहा है, कुछ ऐसी विरोधी ताकतें हमारे अभूतपूर्व कार्यों को व्यर्थ मुद्दे उछालकर उलझाने की कोशिश कर सकती हैं कि हमें एक ही मूल मंत्र लेकर आगे चलना है। वह मूल मंत्र है विकास, विकास, विकास।
That was the Prime Minister's message to his colleagues at the end of the BJP's two-day National Executive. Rajnath Singh didn't specify what were the unnecessary issues except to say this.
विरोध पक्ष के लोग इधर-उधर के मुद्दों में अनावश्यक उलझाने की कोशिश करते हैं।
In the past year, the Modi government has come in for sharp criticism from the opposition, be it over the Dadri killing, a perceived sense of intolerance, or the latest sedition row at JNU. The party now plans to reach out and connect better.
समाज के जहां सभी वर्गों को जोड़ना है, वहीं समाज के जो इंटेलेक्चुअल्स हैं, जो प्रबुद्ध जन हैं, उन तक भी हमें पहुंचना है।
But the debate on nationalism is non-negotiable.
इस देश का संविधान डिसेंट की पूर्ण स्वतंत्रता देता है, देश के डिस्ट्रक्शन की स्वतंत्रता नहीं देता। और इसलिए फ्री स्पीच एंड नेशनलिज्म do necessarily coexist.
Though the party discussed its electoral prospects in 5 poll-bound states, the BJP chief seems to have set his eyes on the next big battle, the 2017 polls in Uttar Pradesh.
14, 15, 16 अप्रैल को सामाजिक समरसता कार्यक्रम होंगे। प्रत्येक ग्राम पंचायत स्तर पर हमारे कार्यकर्ता जाएंगे, लोगों को बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर के विचारों से अवगत कराएंगे।
With Sandeep Phukan in New Delhi, Amitabh Revi, NDTV.
And to talk about this, we are now joined by Sambit Patra of the BJP, C.R. Keswan of the Congress, and senior journalist Aarti Jairath is still with us in the studio. Ms. Jairath, if I could begin with you. Now, Arun Jaitley says the Constitution supports the right to dissent but not destruction of the country. Amit Shah says we will not tolerate any criticism of the nation. There cannot be a debate on Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Is it now absolutely clear that the BJP will go into these assembly elections next month and then indeed the UP elections next year and possibly the 2019 general elections too, with its aggressive stance on nationalism being the centerpiece of its campaign?
You know, I can still understand the BJP preparing for 2019 with this slogan. But you know, the elections that are coming up next month are state assembly elections, and so is UP's next year. You know, surely state issues will be up front in all these elections that are coming up. And you know, I mean, I think the BJP should have learnt its lesson last year, both in Delhi and in Bihar, where the elections were fought entirely on local issues, on state issues. So to bring something like nationalism, you know, which is a very big word and a very big concept, into a state assembly election, it just makes no sense to me. And you know, they really seem to be caught in a time warp of sorts, because nationalism was a big issue at the time we were fighting the Brits to get our freedom. But today, I mean, I think issues like jobs, you know, the economy, these are issues that are uppermost in people's minds.
Sambit Patra, the Prime Minister, though, did say that Vikas, 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 that's his only slogan.
No, in fact, Amitabh, let me begin by saying that all of us today say Vikas, Vikas, Vikas. The agenda of this government is nothing other than development. As far as a question that was asked to Mr. Arun Jaitley and was rightly stated by Mr. Jaitley, that dissent is something different, disruption of the country is totally different. Connecting these things to elections in the states is absolutely appalling, I believe. Amitav, look, I mean, as per the democracy in this country, every 3 months we have an election coming up. That does not mean we are not going to have any kind of discourse in the country. Surely we will have discourses, various kind of discourses in the country, and I believe it's high time that we stop attaching every discourse with the election rhetoric. It's not that Bharatiya Janata Party is going to contest elections not on local issues, on the issues that you're projecting. Absolutely no. But nationalism and dissent, these are two different issues.
All right, Sambit, before we discuss in some detail the BJP strategy for the upcoming assembly polls and how big an issue nationalism is likely to be there, let me bring in C.R. Kesavan of the Congress. Mr. Kesavan, you heard the BJP president directly taking on Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi yesterday, in fact criticizing him for extending support to the JNU students, saying why did he not condemn those anti-national slogans, also taking a dig at the UPA, saying we've given a corruption-free government, the country has been kept away from dynastic politics. How would you respond to that?
Congress party has very unequivocally condemned any anti-national slogans raised by anybody, but the problem here is BJP is playing, cheap politics. It's ironic today you talk about Vikas, Vikas, Vikas. 22 months back their slogan was Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It's a clear admission that they have completely muffled, stifled the voice of minorities and oppressed community and the youth. And I have to focus on this, just to show the hypocrisy. Mr. Jaitley talked about freedom of expression and nationalism. Look at what the freedom of expression by the BJP ministers has been. One minister comes out and says Ramzadeh, Haramzadeh. Another minister says the media is prostitutes. Is that nationalism? Another minister comes out and says, they talk about students being anti-national and terrorists, and to top it, a 6-time BJP MP says the assassin of Mahatma Gandhi is a patriot. Godse is a patriot. This is the kind of, parochial patriotism and regressive nationalism the BJP stands for. And they have completely failed, I'll tell you one thing here very clearly.
Right.
It's a suit boot sarkar because Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas has failed. They know that they've come out completely exposed on the communal agenda, and they are favoring a few, and they stand completely exposed. Right. And nationalism will
lots
also
of points you're raising there.
BJP
I
is
can
the party.
Sambit Patra
BJP is
itching
the
to
party
respond.
which has
Sure,
no role in the freedom movement. Amitabh, they have no role in the freedom movement. They have reduced
before
nationalism
elections,
to a
are
slogan.
both sides guilty of trying to polarize the vote? And in that sense, are they both stuck in a time warp?
Well, this is a sad thing. I mean, if you just go back over the last 2 years, first it was Ghar Vapsi, then first it was Love Jihad, then it was Ghar Vapsi, then it was, beef and so on. I mean, all kinds of issues which are designed to polarize emotions, polarize opinion. Now, as I said, I mean, these are state assembly elections, and, they should be and will be fought entirely on local issues, on state-related issues.
In fact, let me take that to Sambit Patra. Sambit, I know you would want to respond to what C.R. Kesavan there was saying, but if I could add a question of my own, as Ms. Jairat there points out, that perhaps the scenario in these states that are going to pose is very different. While you, of course, say that you're only going to focus on development, fact is that there is a lot of emphasis on the issue of nationalism and the entire debate around it. But, it's important to remember that the states that are going to pose, the BJP does not have a very large political footprint. You think an issue such as this can help you make inroads there?
No, in fact, why anyone should think that this is the major issue on which BJP is going to contest election? As I had said previously, and I still maintain, the major and the only agenda of Bharatiya Janata Party is the kind of developmental deliveries that Mr. Modi has been giving this country since 22 months of his governance. And as far as the issue of nationalism is concerned, I don't see any reason as to why nationalism should be seen as a polarizing agent. And as Mr. Jaitley rightly pointed out today in the press conference, it is not a Hindu-Muslim issue at all. None of the Muslim organization, hats off to them, have come up and supported the JNU. Rather, it is some of the ultra-leftist and Mr. Rahul Gandhi who have gone and supported the people who were shouting anti-national
Let me get in Mr. Kesavan.
So it is not a polarizing issue at all. Why should we be seeing it as a Hindu-Muslim issue?
Mr. Kesavan, cricket is the flavor of the month. Now, the Congress has been accused today of being a tail ender. How do you respond?
No, I think we're very happy that the cricket match went well and we won, but you should understand that the foreign policy of this government is illogical and completely it has no direction. And you know, and as we speak, you know, you have the team from JIT coming. Look at this. You talked about, no, let me just complete. You talked about foreign policy. Rajnath Singh, the Home Minister, tweets saying he learned from the media that Sushma Swaraj had said this JIT team from Pakistan is visiting Pathankot military installation. The Home Minister of the country doesn't know if a joint inspection team from Pakistan has the ISI representative coming to India. This is the kind of foreign policy they are running, and he was a person who tweeted during Pathankot that the operation was over.
Right, Mr. Keswan, I'm sure you have a lot more to say, but I'm sorry we're really running out of time. I'll have to give the last word to Aarti Jairath, who's listening patiently here in the studio. Ma'am, final word to you. While BJP leaders go on and on about nationalism and Bharat Mata Ki Jai, it's very interesting how the Prime Minister chose to completely steer clear of all those issues in the last 2 days, talking about, telling his party workers don't get distracted by unnecessary issues, just focus on Vikas. How do you view that strategy?
Well, I hope his party is listening to him, and I wish his party would listen to him, because I think, you know, he came in on a development agenda, and unless he delivers on that development agenda, it's going to be very difficult for the BJP when you know, the 2019 elections you know, come up. So I mean, I hope his party is listening to him, and you know, whatever Sambit Patra may say, the fact is that nationalism was showcased in their political resolution. The, you know, party president you know, talked about it in his address. Arun Jaitley talked about it at length in his press conference. So clearly they're placing a lot of emphasis on nationalism. So whether they're going to use it in the polls or they're trying to polarize, whatever it is, I mean, certainly I don't see that issue being relevant right now when people are focusing on economic issues.
Right, Aarti Jairath hopes the BJP is listening to the Prime Minister there, and we thank Aarti Jairath, Sambit Patra and Mr. Keswan for joining us.